happening right now. Sonic Wave is there, it's getting lower and lower. Oh! They've stolen it! Mammoth have got the Baron!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the LCO Week 2, Day 2, and it is game number 4 of the evening. Things played out kind of as expected for the first 3, but this is where things get spicy because Mammoth pulled a big upset yesterday, and they were looking pretty good on the Rift, but can they back it up against Gravitas? This was supposed to be a battle at the bottom of the table, where it still kind of is, but Mammoth already have a win on the board, which I don't think a lot of people were expecting going into yesterday's game, right, Rusty?
No, not against Bentonet.gg. I mean, Fury respectfully mind-controlled Yuri into the L, but nevertheless, they got the dub. We're looking at Gravitas first here, though, and it's Tyrant in the top lane, the man who got the kill participation, Foreigner Dajong, who we are personal favorites of from this team so far, I think it's safe to say. And then Piglet and Entrust, who joined us yesterday for their first game. And I do feel like, and it's hard to say exactly to what degree this is true, but they looked better overall as a team. The reason it's hard to say just how much is because Chiefs did a little bit of trolling. So we're trying to find the line of like, this was objectively good from Gravitas or this was bad from Chiefs. For example, this fight is trolling by the Chiefs. They are winning bot side of the map playing for plates, but they still go for this Herald fight. Credit to Gravitas, right? They were winning these, they were getting those leads. I think Entrust and Piglet so far have been promising prospects for them, and I'm glad that they're still here again today.
And I did see at one point Entrust was also doing a little bit of trolling himself. Maybe a bit of limit testing. There was one point where he went hard in. I think it was maybe First Blood. Wasn't far off. Either way, we've got to talk about Mammoth as well, rather. They, however, finally have this W on the board and were looking spectacular yesterday. Fury, don't let him touch Trind again. Right, Skimmy?
Certainly no. Yeah, what a performance he had individually. Popped off, got the MVP, and rightfully so. You're taking down some big players with some history that you're hoping one day to achieve individually as well. So would have done wonders for the team. You saw the videos and reactions come out on socials afterwards, and you just hope that they've managed to compose themselves, look back with a calm demeanor, I suppose, and say, this is what we did so well, and these are the ways we could have won that even easier, right? Because there's obviously a lot of people, a lot of questions and conversation online as to sort of really what it meant, a top team up against what was a bottom team at the time. But now you're starting to think, okay, where does the focus shift for Mammoth? Are they looking to say, there's another win? And like me and Rusty say every year, there's a step, it's a jog, it's a run, and maybe Mammoth, if they continue at this pace, they're sneaking their way in for that 5th and final playoff spot. I think it's hard to push any further given the caliber of just how many strong teams we have this year.
Yeah, I think from what I've seen from both these teams, if there's any sort of immediate gap I'm looking at, it's probably in that top lane. Just after how well Tron played yesterday, I feel like he's able to potentially back that up again, doing so much damage in a lot of those team fights, especially one of those final ones before Mammoth really started to get that ball rolling. Of course, there were some things said on Twitter about what Mammoth can improve on in terms of their macro from some individuals. And look, it's all about improvement. That's the point of them being here, right? In the LCO is they're trying to turn heads. They're trying to show what they're made of. And they're also trying to improve with each and every game. And they've already managed to take down one of the big dogs. So it's a great start to the split for them. And there's plenty more games to go. This is just another one of them. So I feel like, look, I think that top lane is going to be where the diff is. Rusty, anywhere else we should be looking?
I mean, mid was obviously pretty exceptional from Mammoth with his early laning phase differences. And I think with Dajong being there as someone that seems to be very aggressive and looking for those solo kills, I definitely would be looking at mid lane as like maybe the point of highest variance in this game, particularly when you're looking at Tron, who was playing more for like team fight flanking. So it could be like early aggression through mid, team fighting through Tron and Tyrant, and just seeing how the junglers get onto the map, because that's the biggest thing for me, Mac, is how do these junglers actually gank, as they've been pretty unsuccessful in a lot of their attempts.
Yeah, as well, I think they're also trying to, Mammoth rather, they're trying to figure out how those team comps are coming through. Yesterday they did manage to get the AP up in the top lane because they had so much AD across the board. So do you think we're going to see something different coming into today? Maybe something a bit more traditional, or are they just going to go with what works again?
I feel like, Rusty, there's like 2 different ways they can approach it, right? Both can look to try and clash heads and say meta versus meta, let's have at it. Or they could be like, hey, this is what's worked for us, and tournaments of old, you know, coming through the amateur circuit, working your way up to a position like this. These are some of the pocket picks that we've, you know, used in solo queue and made a name for ourselves individually on. So I guess it depends what the coaching decision is as to how they want to take down this team. Maybe one side of the coin is like, hey, you know, that was a big win. Let's continue to play conventionally. And the other part of you goes, we're getting dubs with these crazy champions that maybe teams aren't expecting. So let's have at it until it stops working.
I mean, yeah, Trin beats a Corki, right, Mac? But Trin doesn't always win that game. So that's why it's hard to answer how does it look strategically when we get these two playing.
Okay, well, let's see if Mammoth's win condition is good. Let's also have a look at this head-to-head as well. It seems that this is what you were talking about earlier in the broadcast, I think, Skimmy, is since the beginning of the LCO. Mammoth have beaten Gravitas 3-2, so they do have the edge up in terms of history, but of course, this is the first time these two lineups, with all of these fresh faces, apart from Piglet, are going head-to-head.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing for me, right? Because if you look at the history of a complete picture, Mammoth have won 12 of their games compared to Gravitas only 5. So on 17 occasions, it has been heavily Mammoth favored. As we mentioned before, OPL 2019, super team that Mammoth went on, all these great things, yada yada. But then you continue, and it still has been a little bit more Mammoth favored. And these teams have put a lot of emphasis on developing up-and-coming players, and a lot of those have gone on to do great things. So you're thinking, okay, Mammoth clearly has something working and can look to try and keep that score working in their favor.
Very true. Mammoth do have something working, but it's not their bloody webcams because there's no interview with them. We do have Kitty, though, who's going to be chatting to Gravitas for the pre-match.
Hey, so for the last match of the day, we only have Gravitas Dajong on the side. Rest in peace, Free Fury's Cam. Hello, Dajong. Welcome to the LCO.
Oh, thank you.
So you are becoming a favorite amongst the casters with the constant 1v1 trades in mid lane, sometimes even solo killing pro players with years of experience. How does that make you feel?
I think it feels, obviously it feels good, right? Like I don't want to just get stomped every game, but I think I came in thinking like, oh, I'm pretty good. I've been challenger, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think versing these mid laners, I think I've been really humbled. I think there's a lot of talented mids in the LCO right now, and I think just versing them is real fun and learning a lot from them.
Well, the talented were once also newbies, so you will get there one day as well. So, we're going to talk about tonight's match. So you guys are going against Mammoth. With Mammoth showing their potential last night, are we going to see Gravitas' potential today?
I think our team is learning a lot. We're improving a lot every game. I think a lot of people will say, obviously, Chiefs didn't play us full seriously, but I think we had really good ideas and really strong improvements on how we want to play. And I think, well, as the coach said, it was 3-2 Mammoth's favored. I think we'll make it 3-3 today.
3-3? Well, hopefully it is a 3-3. And thank you for the interview, Dajong. Let's head it back to Mac.
Yeah. All right, thank you for having me.
Very humble head on the man, so good to see that he is enjoying being here in the LCO and also learning from his experience. He's only had the 3 games so far, about to jump into a 4th, and I'm sure he's pretty much already setting himself up for a good split. Now, I want to talk about predictions because this is one where I feel like maybe more of us have gone for Mammoth than Gravitas just off of recency bias from those yesterday's results. But Gravitas did play well yesterday as well. They just didn't get the win because their opponent, of course, was playing spectacularly after the trolling. Right, Rusty?
Yeah, so I mean, they were against the Chiefs. That's not a game that you go into expecting to win, but I do think it was a marked improvement from Gravitas. But you're right. Like, when you weigh up Gravitas versus Mammoth so early in the split, you have to use recency bias, right? 100%. Yep. And Mammoth won yesterday. They beat a good team, and they looked good in so many different places that you're like, surely they win. But, you know, not everyone will go for Mammoth, I'm sure.
Okay, well, let's bring up the predictions, have a look at what everyone did decide to go for.
And
Rusty, it's just you. Okay, so picking up the lone soldier there. You've already said your thoughts. So, Kitty, tell me, other than recency bias, why you have chosen to go for Mammoth.
Well, obviously it's Chinese New Year, you know, got to get a bit of red. Kind of matches my Chi-Pao I'm wearing here. Mammoth all the way.
Hey, you can get the red with the L, am I right?
Oh.
Am I right, Gravitas fans? I'm quite flippant, Kitty. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, man.
Wow, Kitty didn't like it. She got this look on her face. It's like, Rusty, Don't do that. Not on broadcast. Skimmy, why have you gone for that?
I really enjoy the way that Voice plays AD carry. I feel like he looks a little bit like Praetor at times, playing super volatile, just makes these crazy plays where he's jumping in, and you know sometimes he falls down as a result of it. I love to see AD carries that are aggressive, just don't sit back. I feel like those are the two different ways you'll see an AD carry play, but I love it when they're just sick of dying to bruises, so they say, oh, I'll jump in and let you kill me, but maybe I'll kill you first, who knows? So yeah, excites me.
Oh, also want to point out as well, Rusty, with your pick earlier, you're now not in front. It's Kitty and Skimmy both tied up out in the lead. But again, with a mirrored pick here, it's not going to change too much. Although, Rusty has definitely gone for the comeback mechanic with choice.
We could end up tied again, yeah, with no changes.
Beautiful.
Or I'm just way behind.
That too, you might join me, but you'll still be above me looking at the numbers there. So we'll see. Look, I did kind of dig a hole today. I went for every underdog, and it definitely did not pay off. But at least the colours were always slightly different down on the prediction board there. So it's a good one. Now let's have a quick chat about the supports. Which one do you think is going to be setting more up? Like, well, I guess from what we've seen from them, from their champ pools, who is playing like that more so an initiator role?
I suppose we've seen
Trust, right?
We've seen Rocco play a couple of games with the Nautilus. He's played the one game of Lula, whereas Entrustus has got the solo game of Fresh. I don't know. I just give it to Rocco every day of the week just because of his hair. It just, I just can't. I just look every kind of serious analysis, at least for me, goes
Can
out
I
the
change
window.
my prediction? Look at his hair.
I see the face, and you just want him on your team.
He also plays Braum and Yuumi. There's no way he's more of a playmaker than Entrust. There's no way, man.
That's true. It's true. He didn't get his Braum yesterday. He had to play against it, but he knew exactly what to do to take it out, right? So, and he also had a very good reaction in the player games. Big pop-off after the W, and Trust still looking at your big pop-offs, mate. However, they haven't got a dub yet. Is this going to be his chance to pop off in the player camps, Kitty?
Well, I don't know much about Entrust. He is a new player, but I can talk about Rocco. So Rocco is quite a renowned Braum Yuumi player, especially his Braum. His Braum is really good. If Rocco gets his hand on that Braum, it's pretty over for Entrust.
Okay. Are we going to see Yuumi finally picked here
God, I hope not.
for Rocco?
No?
No?
Just going to hold on to
Probably
hope that
not.
it doesn't exist.
Surely, let's have at least one Yuumi game this split, and then Rusty can just sail off into the night and never come back.
Well, Rusty, so riddle me this. So you love his hair. You want to change your prediction solely for his hair, but does the Yuumi sort of counter that out, or is the hair still too good?
Yeah, nah, listen, he's a Yuumi player. I can't ever willingly predict. The hair's powerful, but like, if he ever picks it, perma against Mammoth. There's just no way out of it.
You can figure out if he's going to actually pick it or if it's going to be banned away, because Champ Select is ready for the final game of Day 2 this week. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it indeed. Yes, I'm excited to see this one. To close out week 2, as Mac mentioned, it will be Mammoth taking on Gravitas, a game that year by year, split by split, continues to deliver. It's exciting, it's chaotic, it tends to be a little bit different.
It definitely does. And I was just looking at the band skivvy, the trend straight off the board. I mean, you kind of have to, right? Like,
Surely.
But I like to define this match, and I mean this with nothing but respect and love for this. But you know when you watch a horror film with your mates, and like it's a really scary part, it's like you want to shut your eyes, but there's also like that one spot where you're like, but I want to know what's going on because I'm with my mates. That's what watching this is sometimes like. Because you never know what you're going to get. And like, let's call a spade a spade. They're both development teams. They're both looking to progress into Split 2 and improve. So this early on, when Mammoth play Gravitas, you don't actually know what's going to happen, but it's just exciting.
So far, it is exciting, or perhaps it's not, because these are pretty standard picks. Corki has to be locked in. It just feels, once again, a crime in of itself. If you don't lock that one in, you're pretty much given across a GG condition. Gravitas going to answer back, though, with the Jinx and the Xin. There's certainly some aggression of their own. And I do wonder if we will get any spicy picks, or if those will be saved for pick 4 and 5.
Well, they've willingly given over the Corki with the Tryndamere band, so I don't actually know what to expect from Gravitas that is winning. Just through the draft phase specifically. Aphelios locked in here with it. A support is probably a most likely option. However, jungler is revealed, so you can match jungle champions before the second ban phase. Both completely viable. I don't think there's any necessity to pick a support champion right now with Aphelios. He's pretty flexible at the moment. Jinx may be a little bit more pressured, but it's not too big.
Diego comes out. And that's another game here for Mayfan. They had a supreme game last night, very steady on the fingers to guarantee the smites were working in their favor to continue their lead. Baron's getting the Drakes as well. Gravitas going to hover the J4. Will they go for it? That is the question. It would seem a little bit grief given the Zen. And the Rammus would make Mac very happy, but maybe not their draft. There's the Zoe.
Okay. The Zoe's going to be the response to the Corki. Now, you would say that Zoe has a lot more flexibility in the way that she plays. And in the way that you could say the Corki has really insane bursts when he hits the rockets, the big ones specifically. Zoe can do a very similar thing. It could just be a years of experience gap, but a bit more flexible, but at the same time, the scaling is less predictable. The skill shots are a bit harder to hit. There is a lot more difficulty in execution from that Zoe pick. It is not something that hard wins lane outright every single time. Corki can be much more farm-minded in the way that they play this out. However, the funny thing here, Skimmy, is that the Corki's locked in, the Yone is going to be banned. Is this a pick away from Tron the Pom, or is the Corki flexible, is the question.
A very good question. We have seen a few Corkis played in the top lane, tend to go the shield bow version instead. There's the Vlad as well. A lot of respect being shown to him. Why not? He's showcasing it as to be a pick that might just find a level of proficiency not found elsewhere. I'm already excited though for this mid lane matchup as to who can one-shot better.
Yeah, I was actually looking at this, Skimmy, as well between top laners now that we're seeing the bans go that way. Tyron hasn't had agency once. He's been Gragas, set, right? Those are his 3 games. Yep. On the other side, Tron's got Akali, Tahm-Kench, Vladimir. Like, the man's having a field day in draft phase. Not so much in the gameplay, except for our last game that we saw from them against PGG. But he's been able to pick kind of what he wants, you know? He's getting the counters. Meanwhile, we've got the weak side Titan in the makings of Tyrant. Weak side Tyrant.
Oh, that rolls up the tongue quite nicely, doesn't it? The weak side Tyrant will get the chance to get the counter pick in this game. So we'll have to see what else he's got prepared in that bag of tricks, because the grand reveal comes out here from Mammoth. They've got a lot of attack damage so far.
So when you play around Corki package, it's something that a lot of teams have really actively struggled with. You would say that hard engage is a really good way to force Corki package, right? So if you're setting up for objectives, you want to like cheeky engage, super hard on Corki, get the package out, then you've got an even battlefield. Because that is one of the biggest strengths that Corki currently provides to the competitive landscape, just given that it's timing. Like, legit, if you want to nerf Corki, add 2 minutes to the package. Like, the guy's got to time it perfectly with Drakes then, right? And it doesn't match anymore. Suddenly, a lot weaker of a champion around objective fights in competitive. Still super strong, but never the matter. Zillion is the response.
Yeah. That's what I've been pondering whilst you were talking there. Zillion Aphelios, going to be an interesting bot lane matchup. We've only seen it paired with the Jhin so far, but certainly if you want to make one key carry pop off, that is the champion to do it. Oh no! It was going to be a Gwen for a second, but he's been told by his team perhaps, no, get back on that Gragas.
No, but like Gwen's so good into the long range of a Corki and Aphelios, right? Like, could have team fought exceptionally well. But perhaps they just said to him, we're playing for bot lane, there is nothing you can do about it. And he said, okay, give me Gragas and I will simply survive. There is also windows where Gragas can handle a Gnar pretty well, honestly. But generally speaking, Gnar will start to scale up, will start to have that side lane threat and side lane pressure. And that is pretty universally correct for the majority of Mammoth's team. Also, Xin and Gwen on the same composition is just like giant circles of you can't touch me, and I hate everything about it in theory.
Certainly is, and it's a bit oppressive, but it's certainly going to be able to get the job started. I'm curious about Tron the Pom playing this Gnar, because there's been a lot of hype around it. Looking at his solo queue stats, it's one of his most played champions ever, so certainly something he'll be feeling comfortable on. Another unique champion for another unique game, so certainly having a bit of trust and investment thrown towards the top side. Those are your comps. What way are you leaning to early on?
Great question, Skimmy. I think yeah, right? I think I have to be preferential to the Corki comp. I just think the Corki is a little bit too broken.
Sure.
But, you know, we've seen Mammoth know how to deal with it. They probably know how to handle it themselves. Gravitas have gone for a different composition that still makes a lot of sense to me. Like, I don't dislike their comp. I'm just looking at their opponent's champions and thinking that's pretty terrifying. Jinx and Viego not on the same team though, so it's not going to be like a hard reset composition for one side. Both teams looking for that first pick and then converting that into something more. And both teams with the means to do it, right? Zoe, Corki, both adept at doing crazy amounts of burst in a single hit. And then you've got Jinx to get excited with Viego to get the resets on the other side. So when teams come to clash, if it's for objectives, if it's for turrets, if it's for river fights, it'll come down to who gets the first big punch off. And flank angles for me are going to be a pretty prevalent feature here right now. Looking for the flanks, looking for the big ults. Gragas also very good at finding those. So that's what it comes down to in my eyes, if we're at an even playing field come fights.
Well, if anything else, I'm sure these players, with the amount of skill shots we have here, need to make sure they check those mouses, make sure that the DPI settings are working wonders, that the mousepad itself is in optimal situation for them to pop off and play, perform, and deliver a banger of a game to close out week 2 here of the LCO as we load into the Rift and we get excited about it.
So they are loading into this one, Skimmy. Might see a pretty casual start here, but we'll see how it plays out.
Let's see, as they do set things up. I do believe we have the coach of Mammoth on standby. We've got Ro. Welcome to the LCO. How are you feeling, mate?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for welcoming me. I'm very glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm sure. The boys, no doubt, must be in very high spirits. What a result you guys got last night, so congratulations for that again. How's everybody feeling? The players, the staff, the team, and I suppose, where do we go from here?
I mean, to say we're ecstatic is an understatement, right? Like, we actually managed to pull out a win against a very tough competitor. We were up against some very good players, right? And it's very early on. We're still doing a lot of fundamental work, as we were told a lot, right? But I think in terms of where we're going, what this means is that obviously we pulled out a win despite not having all the fundamentals there, and I would say that means look at our trajectory, right? We've got a lot more to go, and just believe in us.
For sure, and I'm already excited to sort of see what that looks like. I'll ask one quick question before we do jump into things. A lot of discussion, I suppose, now as to what things could look like. Is it going to be a case of looking to try and really understand the meta, or are you going to stick to the picks that have worked for you so far?
I mean, definitely we like certain champions. I don't think it'll depend on what the meta looks like, but definitely fitting our champions into the meta is the way I like to do things, rather than going hard meta or hard champions.
So you're saying there's a chance of Sim Yumi. You've heard it here first. I'm keen, I'm excited. Hey, Ro, it's been a pleasure, mate. Wish you boys the best of luck.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, Ro will be hearing from me after this, Skimmy.
Maybe one day.
No Yumi's allowed. Just as we load into this one, you know, we expect a fairly quiet start. There was a push stack from Mammoth, but nothing doing from it. You would expect. So early conversation has to be about priority. In lanes, right? Who has push, who has the ability to move first if it came to an invade or something of the likes. Right now, Gravitas with the Jinx, especially level 1, and with the threat of the Rakan, will always have the push. Mid lane, Zoe should always have it as well. In a pretty commanding sense as well in mid lane. Top lane's the one place that definitely goes the other way. Tyron 100% stared Gwen in the face and then said, I'm going to counterpick myself real quick. Went for that Gragas weak side, as he does. And so that is the one point that you'd expect goes pretty well for Mammoth through the early laning phase. And you can see, of course, through the jungle pathing, both teams kind of path accordingly. So there's going to be a bot to top side clear for Mayfun, where he feels most secure, perhaps, in his full clear. A similar thing to be said for Foreigner on the bottom side of the map. Now he's about to go for the bot scuttle. 3 resets across the board.
See what Dejan can do here. He's finding the angles. He's got some early harass working in his favor so far. Started Corrupting Potion. Hasn't popped one just yet, but he has got Sleepy Trouble Bubble, and that's kind of the pressure you're mentioning about forcing that Valkyrie out nice and early. If a pick like that happens, even if you have the package, you're not taking that chance.
Yeah, also, Dajong hasn't used like a single corrupting potion there, so
Yeah.
there was a real world scenario that he just pops one of those early for the little bit of extra mana. One more bubble, and that is a dead Corki, but probably not anymore. The potions have started to really stack up. That was the window of opportunity. Bone plating gone, actually. We're looking at a 2v2 here. Actually, I lied, there's 3. We're looking at a 3v1 dive onto the Corki is the main feature there. They just don't pull the trigger. They don't find their chance. Bubble doesn't come across.
Don't decide to go for it. Had a Randuin's as well, as if that's not broken. How cool is Zoe, by the way? Just quietly.
I love Zoe.
There's a copy pasta out
XD.
there I know somewhere. Yeah, absolutely. One of those ones. I think people are reframing it to say that they love Dejong instead. Oh, 50-50. Have we ever seen this?
Damn, that's with 1,000,000 points as well. We've seen a lot of 49-51s. I don't think we've ever seen a flat 50.
Straight down the center. Have at it. 1,000,000 points up for grabs. I know there's a lot of rich Mammoth fans after last night.
Yeah,
so
true.
Hey, they're double downing.
Man, where's the 10 kills 5 minutes in? I want a bloodbath.
We've had those. We certainly have. And you ask, maybe you will receive, or perhaps just not yet. Oh, he's still landing his paddle styles though, isn't he?
He's got it downloaded. Completely downloaded Refury asking for help from the Zillion. Mayfun also here. They have brought 3 people to reset the wave, Skibby. That's a little bit much, don't you think?
That says it all, doesn't it?
Quite excessive.
Piglet's in the situation for Gravitas to rotate up now to try and even the odds. In comes in Trust. It's going to be very deep under the turret, but there is the trouble bubble, which...
Something did damage that broke the sleep.
Yeah.
And I can't see... Was it
what had me
Airy?
stumped.
Does
Can't
Airy
imagine.
wake you up?
I genuinely don't know.
Because I feel like Scorch doesn't. Can we replay just the bubble? I'm gonna work the production overtime here.
Whilst we wait for that one, we'll continue to observe this masterclass in mid lane. He's picked up an Ignite, and out it goes. Has no minus, so no doubt that is all it is. But look at the CS lead he's achieved so early on.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's real comfortable in mid lane. This Zoe, like we spoke about before, does get priority in it. We're just gonna watch the bubble. That was an auto!
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
clown!
Oh, no!
Oh, no. That's not it.
Had us second guessing ourselves for a second there.
You hate to see it. Either way, the main point is the CS lead that he has in mid lane. He's been pretty protected. There's been a lot of resources put towards mid, but nothing actually doing with it. Mayfun refuses to check the pixel bush. Just refuses, flat out does not want to. So they question mark ping him. And they'll watch him walk in, they'll watch him walk out. They don't know if there's vision, but it doesn't matter. They know he left.
Despite that big lead in mid lane, Gravitas, Mammoth are quietly achieving. Look at the fact of how top lane's working for them. They're picking up gold.
True. I mean, you'd say Tyrant's happily scaling. It does look like he is going to go for the full AP build as well, just by the way. Comet completed an actual mana crystal there, looking for that build. See how it plays out, because that is one of the ways that you can deal with Nara in mini form, right? You can be super aggressive, hit the Everfrost if he's trying to push, and you actually have kill threat on the turret. So far, no one actually willing to pull the trigger on making a play. So yeah, fairly stable gold differences, just perhaps not stable in the lanes that they're in. It's Rocco.
He wanted the ward, man.
I think he just copped an auto expecting it to charge, but that was a surprise auto attack from Herald. It really was a surprise auto attack from Herald. It's meant to charge first.
He's been trolled by the game here. Well, it doesn't really look like there's any contest from Gravitas. Cookie's got the package. Might just be a trade across the map down in the bot lane. Dragon has begun, so what will this package be used for instead? Is it just to try and assert some lane control and at least claw back at this 20 CS deficit?
I mean, the longer this, yeah, like, honestly, the package was just to make sure, I guess, Herald was secured, so the timer is still there for the next package.
Oh,
He'll use it, but the barrier was there.
he's got it. That's a lot of trading. Oh, and he uses the cannon as a shield. He's got lethal. He flashes.
We get him.
And he gets the auto as well. Oh, man, what a play. Well done.
Yeah, Dajong tries to take the fight with the bubble, looking for an angle, but I actually think he chose the wrong angle. That cannon is legitimately, it deserves its own highlight
It's
reel.
smurfing.
That cannon was high APM, support main kind of action there. That was nuts.
It
I
almost
mean,
played
that
like
was a
Yumi.
1v2. He got ganked by the cannon.
It just soaked up the skill shot and said, have at it. It's a first blood. It's a kill. And it's all in the mid lane. Really well played.
The barrier soaks the package damage, right? In the end, that wasn't actually going to be a huge package. But that 1 minion, man.
Look at bot lane. So far, so good. Both the 80 carries are loving life, though, that's for sure. With all the roaming that these supports have done, they are very accelerated in terms of their levels.
Well, yeah, the thing is that kill in mid blew the gold difference out. 'Cause that equalized the one place that Gravitas were really winning.
Yeah.
Perhaps some solo kills gone awry, perhaps some gank kills gone completely missing. And Trust and Rocco have been pretty actively moving around the map, but beyond their movements, there hasn't been any ganks. That has literally just been a solo kill.
Phone's going to trim that wave. Tron the pond. In Mega. Back to Mini. Flashes away from the cask and just gets a helping hand to disengage away. In comes Dejun. Got Australians now.
Big one,
Sidesteps the big one. That could be big. Answers back with conviction and says, well, there's a rocket just for insurance in case.
Yeah, I mean, that was business as usual for Dajong in the matchup. The way that it's meant to go. You've got the Herald being summoned bottom lane here, however, and the push from Mammoth, the plates that were already secured, that will confirm the first turret of the game. And the gold grows from what was effectively a 1,000 gold lead to 3 after the mid laner dies 1v1. They are doing incredibly well. And the actual difference in gold between junglers right now is unbelievable.
He's the carry, as we've seen Viegos do time and time again. Corona on your screen now. Just shielding his top laner, ensuring that they can get a little bit of gold in this part of the map as well. That's one play at least.
Yeah.
But the Herald's doing everything you could ask for.
Dolby did in fact receive a sock.
We're going all Harry Potter now, are we?
Gragas is a free elf.
Oh no.
He counterpicked himself, man.
You're just looking at the kill participation. I know you got your eyes firmly fixed on that one.
Ah, no, he's on the board. We can't obsess with kill participation anymore. He got the 1v1 with Top Moon yesterday.
It's done. It's old news.
Yeah, old news.
Sure.
Mind you, he's KDA. I think he's got a total of 1 KP.
Here's the lane flip, so having done the job, then they're going to rotate for it. Now another chance for mid lane. You get put to sleep, then you get charmed, and then you just die.
Yeah, things starting to really unravel. Piglet flashes away top lane, but things really starting to unravel in mid. It is the second kill that goes across in just as many minutes. And again, we credit Refury. It was a really nice 1v1 early. He played it super well, but things start to go back to normal.
Oh, just going to sidestep there on the double time bomb. They're going to try and punish this Aphelios, which is getting infinite value, trying to siege with the current weapon setup. Very close range is he right now, so he has to be quite careful. Gravitas have a lot of diving threats. They can't find the mark, but now they can! They get excited, and they actually put him to sleep! Out comes the rocket, only connects with Viego. They lose vision for a second, and as he goes out of that vision,
he's got him.
He flashes away, and the Gale Force, was it enough? It was! They get the kill! There's Joey now, 3-1. The package is massive. He's taken down one. He's going to get a second. Can he turn around? Mayfarn flirting with danger. Is going to die. And now, how confident is Refury in his play? It's a little bit too much to bite off, but explosive action in the top lane.
Yeah, look, we wanted action, that's what we get. The package was picked up by the Corki. Remember, he dies, he respawns into this fight. We'll see how it happens against top, because Dajung actually misses everything at the get-go here, but it forces Mayfan into this really awkward position the long way around, and that buys so much space for Piglet, for Dajung to actually move. The bubble miraculously finds a target, because that just happens. And then using Gale Force away from a Zoe, unfortunately gives her a Gale Force, and so she's going to be able to follow you. Dajung actually picks up a heal on the backside, but it's not going to be enough because Refury gets in with the package and comes in super clutch. And remember, that only gets stronger from here on out. That Corki is always an issue.
Mid lane seems to be the focus right now. 3 kills, 2 deaths apiece. But it is Mammoth that have a fragile lead at this stage. Everybody's come to the bot lane. Second Dragon, the most important thing here. The plates are gone, but the Drake's up for grabs. Gravitas secure it. They've got their second one of the game. Zillion stun comes out. Crescent Guard does nothing. Viego claims the soul and then goes to sleep. Tron the Pond running them down, flashing on towards Daejong, who's forced to disengage away. You said it before, and I'll say it again. Mayfan is huge.
Yeah, that is a very big Viego that is running around, just taking people apart. I mean, Mammoth, that was a fight without their Corki package, but they're confident. They know they've got enough of an advantage. They find the mark. I didn't get to see the Zillion ultimate in the last fight, but he had it ready for this one just in case. And it's a case of, you know, the play was for the Drake, Foreigner gets the Drake. This isn't a fight anymore, because when you're against the Viego, if your play is just to secure it and you're looking to risk your life for that, the rest of your team probably needs to run, because you've actually just given a free reset to the Viego, right? So in reality, Gravitas should just lose their jungler. They've lost their AD carry here, Mammoth. Don't ask. We'll probably replay it. I'm going to say it's a Hex Gate.
A lot of questions. Yeah.
But anyway, Piglet was mid, was my point. Gravitas shouldn't have taken that fight. There shouldn't even have been a second casualty if possible.
Two very different win conditions right now. You're seeing Mammoth very keen to scrap, keen to fight, abuse the lead that they have. Obviously, the insurance policy of a late game Corki is always nice too, but Gravitas are quite happy playing for the sole point.
All right, we're going to get a replay. Oh, there's a bubble.
Well, it was by the gates. You're halfway there.
It was closer to trading than you'd care to admit, but I mean, it's as simple as a bubble connecting. Mate, you know what? That Drake trade was suddenly worth it. That was a Drake and it became a 2-for-1. You take those. That's 2 Drakes for Gravitas.
Yeah. Not going to connect here. It'll be hard to gank that Gnar. Did actually pick up a call as well, which has been completed, so not only is he winning the lane, he's winning harder. Yeah, very strong Gnar to deal with. Their hard engage is phenomenal.
We've hit a pretty chaotic state on the map overall, but there's no objectives to realistically be looking for. So it could just be a case of get your resets off, get your vision out, and then continue to get your resets off. You know, inch it forwards. Right now, Gravitas have full red side quadrant control on Mammoth's side of the map. A very large amount of wards, which means bubbles can come from Fog of War with a fair accuracy.
There it is. And unlike the Malzahar game, it's going to be much easier for the Zoe to do things like this, to zone you away from the turret and prevent you from defending things. They did a good job, though, of holding strong in the mid lane. Rest of their team were preoccupied top side and get another turret. And also, bear in mind, look at Tron the Pom, he's picked up bot too.
Yeah, they're going to break a couple of turrets. The transaction was for the mid-outer. It's one of those things that you do kind of just say is fine. Like, it is, I guess, worth. There's no real losing team here. And one of the biggest things that have changed in League of Legends, Skimmy, between years is that you don't want to trade with the losing team. You want to just be winning, which is why you might get a little bit more of like the stalemate game state, if that makes sense to you. Like, a lot more fights happen around the Drake because you're not just going to force an inner turret for an inner turret. Opening the map up actually gives them more money. because there's going to be bounties, etc.,
Yeah.
on those objectives. So we are going to get a lot more patient, calm gameplay around the objectives themselves. That's what I would be expecting here with a couple minutes left. We'll be fighting for the next Drake because it'll be the third one and potentially a sole point for the side of Gravitas.
Yeah, my point exactly right. I feel like Gravitas are very content with the position they find themselves in. Also, bear in mind that this gold lead really hasn't exploded too crazy. It's still a 2K margin to talk about, which at this stage of the game, you're not going to be too panicky about, I suppose, for lack of a better way to really phrase that. But you're starting to see that the pressure in mid lane really going to be that sort of driving momentum of package, big one, trouble bubble. Whoever gets hit by that, I mean, the fight just feels like it's won from that one little bit of poke.
I mean, yeah, it basically is, right? And the thing is, it's not a little bit of poke, it's a lot of poke. Like, the bubble threat forces the Corki package because you know how much damage would follow that one up. And a big Corki rocket suddenly just wins the entire team fight, bodies the whole area out.
Yeah.
So that is what it's going to come down to. Corki package, I think, was still timed with the next Drake when they fought top lane. I think that was just before the Drake spawned, so it should be up right on time. And we should have ourselves another 5v5 biff in the river.
The fireworks on full display once again. I'm keen to see it, hey. I love it when these teams come together because they certainly give us a show. I'm very curious because I feel like in the past, whether what year it may have been, we've had games where we're hitting benchmarks of 40, 50 kills, and it's just full on who can get the most fed and who can abuse respawn time is better, quite honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of respawn time or abuse go on the lower level champions just living their best lives. Yeah, there's been a lot of bloodthirsty league between Gravitas and Mammoth. And it wouldn't be surprising that we start to get to that point as these teams start to capitulate and we get more and more crazy later on. But what we do know, Skimmy, just as a very serious point here, is that both these teams have played together for a pretty large amount of time.
Yes.
And so you would expect a lot more, you would say, calm and measured play until objectives are up. The chaos can happen, right, with fights at objectives, perhaps not prior.
Well, these players no doubt will be familiar from the amateur scene. But they've got that big call up, and they are showcasing what they're about here on the pro stage. Now we get ourselves ready because there is a bit of a crossover between a Baron spawning and a Dragon up and available. So,
yep.
I doubt, well, I'd be surprised, quite honestly. Maybe nothing's too surprising in this day and age, but
hey, Mammoth could.
They could just say, forget it, we'll take you at the Dragon for the fourth and final.
All right, 19:30 in game time. Refury teleports in with his Corki package. You've got 60 seconds on the clock when Mammoth have the inside track. If you look at the teleport vision, there is about 1 million flanks that are available for Gravitas if they wanted to make the play, but they don't even attempt. They will just seed the Dragon. You see, the Shinzao was just recalling. Literally zero effort goes towards it. And again, to me, that's like it's a clear sign that we're comfortable scaling. You've given an Aphelios a fairly free lane, but Piglet is ahead, so it's definitely a Jinx Zoe angle. Money in the right places from Gravitas' side for scaling.
Yeah.
There's just a part of me that wanted to see them fight for that one.
Would have been nice, certainly, to not leave this one down to chance where scaling becomes the only way we start talking about. We know what a lot of these champions can certainly do once level 16 is around.
You know what it is? It's like Corki's so broken because every team just gives up objectives when Corki exists.
Yeah.
They may feel like it's an even game, but then they see a Corki package and they say, okay, that's your Drake, right? Like, suddenly the game isn't even. Nah, but that was a lot of inting, right?
Zoom in a little bit further because that was something crazy.
He just
Dangerous is in shambles. He is in shambles. Look at the player cam. Can't quite believe what he's just seen. He's just gone. And now the Baron is on.
No. It's all down to Piglet now. There's one DPS source alive on the team. Piglet has to carry. Baron's at 6,000. It gets spotted, Skibby. They've got the front to back. They've got a flank angle from this Shinzao as well.
Oh.
Na's about to lose Mega.
That's it. Yeah, teasing him perhaps with that Mega Na ult. Not going to use it. The Baron's been held in suspension. Down to
so
2K.
low.
Oh, super Mega Death Rocket. How's that not killed anyone?
Foreigner's hitting Baron.
How's that not killed anyone? Gravitas are going to sneak it. They've stolen it. They've taken it right before them. You have rockets. We have rockets too.
I mean, it isn't clean. It isn't clean League of Legends, but it's what we like to see. Gravitas will get the Baron buff just stolen from under the nose of Mammoth. They watch it happen. Tyrant hits a huge cast. Remember, he is an AP Gragas, so there is some meaningful damage there with that first item completed. Just completely deters them. No shot, you keep that Baron going if you're about to lose Mega, right? Or you commit to the burger flip.
Let's watch this one back, because a lot of things happened.
Yeah, so it's all about Tyrant setting up in the front line and Foreigner posturing. You want Mega now to be gone, right? It's pretty obvious that's what Gravitas are about to do. Tron jumps in, doesn't commit to a flash play, and just loses Mega. But Baron's at 2,000 health, so they're not sitting here holding the Baron health hostage. Oh. They also don't have a control ward for the pit, nor have they cleared the vision that's placed by Gravitas in that pit.
Oh, we're back to live.
And the bubble's on.
Oh, we're seeing it again. Oh, there's a rocket. Oh, they're getting excited. I'm getting excited. Can you hear? Can you tell? Well, I certainly can see a lot of action on my screen. They found 3 members, and it looks like they're keen to hunt down more. Here we go. Baron buff still.
They have to let Piglet lifesteal Skibby. They just cleared the wave in front of his face. That bubble was so close. I think Mammoth have just spontaneously combusted.
Yep. Look how much Baron value it's found. 4,000 gold power spike, and now Gravitas have the gold lead. They're going to take down a mid inhib. No other waves to push in just yet. And yeah, quite rightfully so, they will disengage away.
If Gravitas win this game, would you say the play of the game is Dajung inting mid? Because
quite
that's
honestly,
what started the sequence of events.
Quite honestly, he may have the biggest brain out of anyone.
Hey, we're looking at the present. He is minutes in the future.
We can't quite understand his genius just yet. The last few minutes really have been a bit of a blur, and Piglet is doing whatever he can to try and run away, but it's just divulging into pure chaos. They've just spoon-fed Refury 2 kills. Daejong is dead again, so the carries on one end get popping off, and Mammoth balanced the books, and we've now got 9 kills apiece.
All right, the ball is now in Mammoth's court. Baron is not really going to do anything from now on. The mid lane inhibitor is down for 4 more minutes, and if you are Mammoth, that is just free farm for your AD carry. Voice will be pretty chuffed with this one. He'll just be able to clear out mid-wave, get a bit of extra gold, and that's money that does go missing into the hands of Gravitas. Dajung needs to be really particular with his lane assignments. Drake back on the board. In 5 seconds, package on, and 2 people dead from Gravitas probably means this is just another concede. But this dragon does just go over. It's going to be 2 apiece. There's a 500 gold shutdown on Refury now after that last little fight. Now, I swear to God, wasn't that last skirmish that just went Mammoth's way, just stopping bases for like 6 minutes straight?
Uh-huh. He's just come out the gate swinging again. And it's going to hit that point where you just get a little bit upset that Corky's found himself in this position, especially given the fact that they are stacking up attack speeds and CDR. Pretty nice ability haste, wouldn't you know? I saw Gravitas spam picking these side lanes though as that dragon went down. And trust his, I want to say misclick the ultimate here.
After the ult.
Yeah, the quickness is down.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely wasn't intentional.
So maybe a few nerves showing at the 25-minute mark.
His finger is so on the trigger. He just forgot to stop and ask himself why. But it will still be 2 turrets taken, and that's a really good trade from Gravitas. It's really important, fundamentally, right? If the teams are going for objective through mid, they're not controlling side waves, you should use the time that they're at an objective to control side waves. And Corky showing top lane there as well. A free opportunity to push in, and 2 big turrets. That's exactly what you're after. Gold has swung in Gravitas' way. And we are looking at a battle of Refury versus Piglet. Piglet, someone that has played in the LCO before. You wouldn't say a veteran, but definitely someone with experience and maybe a bit more composure. We will see. Refury gonna have to step up to the plate and do it himself, but he's on a Corki, so honestly, it's pretty hard to mess that up.
Yeah, 3 out on Corki. It's looking pretty sumptuous right now. We saw that one-shot headshot before. It doesn't get any better. It does really get worse for Gravitas, but they're utilizing this time to continue the pressure, to continue the siege. Another Baron up in 40 seconds. Oh, treble bubble just goes wide. Once the wave is gone, so do they.
I mean, it's perfect positioning from the side of Gravitas, right? You have a Zoe over the wall. If you can trap Mammoth as 5 at that inner turret, it's just a field day for Zoe, right? Throw bubbles left, right, and center. The issue that I'm seeing, I think, like, if their play is to really pressure this, just bring Gragas. I don't think you have to, but just bring him, right? Like, it's once again a bit of an in from Dajung, but Gragas showing on a side lane means this is permission. Nari's Mega, Mammoth 100% are going to be hunting. Don't do it.
Yeah, they're trying to keep them keen, keep them honest, buy more and more time for this Gragas to continue to split push. He is the AP variant, so certainly can put in work. Dajun just needs to find the angles where the Corki isn't expecting it. Otherwise, we're just going to see it happen again, another one-shot.
Gragas is still pressuring now, so the time that he didn't spend group for the inner is now pressuring the bot lane inhibitor turret, and you can see that the game is ebbing and flowing back into Gravitas' hands just a little bit. The poke from Corki was meaningful. Corki also level 15. He's almost there. And Baron back on the cards. But Dajung hasn't entered, so this may not be free. We'll see. I'm just saying, the strategy's not there this time.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, he's gone golden. He's gone golden. Has he bettered it out? There's the charm to turn around onto Ward's voice. Preemptively hit the chrono shift. They're buying time. It's gone. It's expired. Oh, he still gets res. He still gets resurrected. That is so clutch, but it doesn't change the outcome. He still dies. Corki finds one. Refury cycling through those rockets. He gets a second. Tron. He's keeping them all honest over this side. Mammoth come together. They've got the numbers advantage. They've taken down 4, Rusty.
Tron clutches super hard. It's Mayfun and Tron the Pom on the flanks there. I actually thought that Zillion ultimate was about to expire, Skimmy. It had to have been the smallest of margins away from it. But they still get the reset. Voice comes back to life, and that is so much time purchased for Mammoth, because that really was an unreasonably early Zillion ultimate. But I guess when you're against the Zoe, it's hard to know exactly when to throw that one. We'll see the replay again. It starts with a face tank from Voice, who then ult flashes, but the ult doesn't cover the distance. It doesn't matter because the stopwatch was there. He must have been so close to that expiring, but gets literally one hit. So you can see the kill him again. But now look at Tron, right? Everyone from Gravitas start really grouping over this side, and it's free as just pressing ult into the wall.
Massive.
How do you do for Viego, right? Free resets. Easy teamfight victory for Mammoth, because Refury was free hitting the entire time on this side.
Tron the Pom's really been impressing me these last few games. He's got his mechanics down to a bit of a T.
Tron can teamfight, man.
Yeah.
And Trust has decided that teamfighting is not for him. He just gets one big rocket from Corki. He's out of there. Back to base. Third Corki package, third Drake confirmed with no contest. Are we seeing a trend, Skimmy? There is also a Baron in hand this time, to be fair.
Just trying to run the numbers there to see how much extra damage all these Drakes stacked up together is actually equating to. Could very well work out to be 24% bonus attack speed and the ability H2. Not to forget the soul on top of all that. A Chain Lightning, devastating. They don't need any more poke.
No,
They're getting so much more of it, aren't they? It's just it's chronic. It's crazy, criminal.
It's definitely going to be quite painful to deal with if you give a Corki the Hextech Dragon Soul, I'll say that much. But right now it is, once again, Corki in the driver's seat. I mean, let's talk draft for a second. Corki is an issue. You'll see that in this game, because this is an even game. Except for one champion. One champion, Skimmy. That's all it comes down to. You need the Zoe to pop off, but the Zillion's a pretty clutch pick in that respect, right? If it's a game of who gets resets first, does Jinx get excited or does Viego get a reset? Zillion definitely just puts the damper on that one for Gravitas' hopes.
certainly Rocco could be the game changer, the game decider, the team fight winner with that well-timed ultimate. Not to forget the stuns also, to try and buy a bit of space and peel.
That's also, I didn't notice that. It's a Moonstone for a new Azilian instead of perhaps a Shirelia's.
Yeah.
Not going to comment on the whys.
Let it happen.
Certainly increases his heal and shield power though, so that's exciting.
That's pretty good, isn't it? It's a big game, Rusty. It's been a long week for them. They must have been partying up until the very early hours of the night. I don't know that for sure, so it is really fake news.
Speculation.
It is speculation, yep. But perhaps, much like Dejan, he's in the future. He's figured out the Zillion rework.
Lots of respect paid. With good reason, the Zoe bubbles can be an issue, but...
Yeah, Nathan's copping it right now. Out goes the Rakan. Voice down to 50. Instantly goes golden. Then cops a golden one, and ooh. Konashev goes out there. It's not going to pop this time. Moonlight Vigil does absolutely nothing. Dejan still being a pest on the side. Tron the Pom is out.
He just ate it.
Mammoth have to run. They have to run. This is not looking like a winning team fight right now unless they can find something crazy. Piglet gets excited. They found one. Now he's going to run them all down. He's looking at a pentakill. That's a double. That's a triple. Oh, can he find any more? He's gone golden again. Mayfarn looking for this one. Are you going to spoon feed it across? So there's the quadrat. Our second one of the LCO. And for the second time also, no penta. It's denied.
Tell you what though, Piglet sitting on the smallest of health bars for the duration of that fight, had to stop to auto-attack minions. Note that he had a stopwatch that entire time, but was playing his ranges very well. Full credit to Gravitas for that team fight victory. It was a case of force the Zillion ultimate. The Zillion ultimate was wasted. Team fight follows after. This is a big one. Piglet gets one hit if that hits him. Gotta be careful still. It may just be inhibs and out.
Yep. It's not looking like an end. The wave is too small. Hextech gate, disengage away.
Just misses the damage there to cancel. That would have been a Tyrant dead. Throws the cask out to try and stop anyone that comes towards them, Skimmy. But Gravitas find an opening where there wasn't one. And it's as simple as a bubble connecting and Trust finding Voice. And then the free burst that comes through. Mayfarn almost opens the gates for Voice to cop that one, to be fair. And then you just don't touch him, right? There's no reason to hit the Aphelios. Piglet's disengaging because Tron comes in. And then Tron literally just eats a bubble. We definitely don't need to slow-mo that one. He had enough notice to dodge it. Piglet gets the resets. This is the one thing you're afraid of if you're against this Gravitas team. And then one health. Piglet gets the auto attacks on those minions. Jeez, it was close. Package is ready, Skimmy. We're back at it again.
This next minute feels like the most important minutes of these games.
You want a bubble on a Corki. That's your
Mammoth
play.
take this. They've got the soul. It's gone. They've got it. They've got so much damage now. Can the Corki pop off? The Corki pops flash and is now separated from the rest of the team. They've got the shutdown. They've taken out Dejan. Well, actually, Dejan's taken out the Corki, rather. Double kill here found by Voice, who's popping off so far, but it is a shutdown there from Tron the Pom. Dejan, untouched on the flank, has picked up Azonias and needs to put in a lot of work right now, but the exhaust really prevents the one-shot being found.
Their base is in shambles, Skibby.
Mammoth are healthy, but their base is not.
They're going to go to Baron. So it'll be Baron, and it might be a disengage.
They've lost the base turret.
But they got the soul. You can't call it. You can't call this game.
They're furiously pinging on the base, thinking, what on earth is going on?
Zoe's going to have a crack here. And if anything was going to go wrong in this game, he's got Smite. Skibby.
Oh no. Say it ain't so. Zoe, the hero, he's been stunned. Oh no.
He's just walked into the Zillion bomb. Oh my god.
No, no, no. It could have been a highlight reel, a moment, a montage, and perhaps the biggest play you've made today.
What do you say?
Is that the final nail in the coffin? I don't know, but I tell you what, a Hextech Soul with a Baron. Yes, Mammoth's base is is shattered, but there's no backdoor wards to TP on. And there's no wave to escort in, so rough times.
Certainly is, Skivvy. So, Hextech Dragon Soul, because I think it's one of the first times we'll see this in the LCO. I don't know about the rest of the world, but dealing damage with an attack or an ability causes basically a slow static shift, right? So, Corki hits you with a rocket. Everyone around you gets slowed for a decaying slow. Sounds gross? Is gross.
Yep.
Pretty Fury has that. So keep your eyes peeled on this Corki, who isn't going to get too much stronger, just quietly. Definitely has a whole lot of items for himself, but just looking at that Baron buff and how much time is left on it. It's 1:30 on the clock. Can they get something done?
Yeah, they've spent the majority of this time protecting their bot wave where that inhibitor is still down for another 1:10.
Yeah.
So they need to push this out to prevent that potential backdoor situation. It's a constant threat, but they have returned to the scene of the crime where that crazy team fight took place. As you say, Zoe's gone split pushing to at least even out topside.
Yeah, super late to this play. So you'd expect a bit more agency there for Mammoth, who are currently not playing this wave. They're probably going to be playing the next wave, so Zoe will be here in time. The issue is the timing of these waves isn't ideal, and Mammoth is still playing bottom.
Yeah.
So it's going to be super slow taking this inner turret. This next wave with Tron solo mid, they've casually cleared the minions out. There's only really the cannon left and a full wave to clear, and Piglet's able to hit bottom. They can't stop Piglet from clearing the wave. They probably should be able to, but they can't.
Beijing is flirting with danger. He's hit the bubble again. He's hit the locket too. He's low. Tickles the Viego. But that's it at this stage. Baron, 20 seconds left.
Fast wave. Last chance to push with it. Last chance to do something meaningful. Break the base open if you can.
Here we go.
No mana left on Piglet.
Gonna push things in, as you say, back to minigun form. They can't quite crack in to get that in hit. The Baron's gonna fall off now. There is still the cannon there. Voice is gonna step up whilst he gets a chance. Another wave goes through mid lane. As Tron the Pom and Mayfun look to try and take a second turret, working their way inside the inner workings of Gravitas.
Gravitas don't really know where to draw the line, and Mammoth don't know how to pull the trigger. Wolf secured. They will be pushed back. We've got an Elder in 1:30, Skimmy. I think that's the play on this reset, unless Entrust ints.
Oh no.
He expected them to be in base. Foreigner needs to cancel that recall and reposition himself.
Maybe the invitation they were hoping for. He is down, Rusty, for 40 seconds. That's huge.
Yeah. I mean, this could be a 2 inhibitor angle now. They've kind of been given permission to launch. 30 seconds on the support of Gravitas. Just didn't play properly. You know, just walks in, Piglet just gets 1 hit. That'll be 2 inhibitors.
And he
for
can't
sure.
lie still. He has to go back to base and utilize the Phantom once again. As you say, 2 inhibitors will be claimed. That is the bounty. That is their just rewards. They should just disengage away from this one. Have that map pressure. Play for the Elder.
Yeah, Tron Mega. So the one thing that Mammoth are running into right now is they stayed so long. Like once that cancel of the recalls happened for the kill on Entrust, 2 inhibitors is obviously a huge dub, but they haven't based and they don't really have the time to base. I don't know how much money they have sitting in their pockets, but you'd expect a lot with how much time they've been on the map pushing with this Baron buff.
Yeah.
And so you look at the gold difference of 5,000, that's like they've got 6,000 in their pockets. Right now, Gravitas are technically ahead.
Here we go. The fight for the Elder. The GG condition. The buff of all buffs.
The bubble hits Corki. He doesn't even get a package, Skimmy.
The long, long dance.
I think if you're Gravitas, you fight this. You commit to this. This is the play. You burger flip this Elder.
can't take much longer because, as I say, the inhibitors are down. They're going to be constantly pressuring against you. Piglet and Foreigner feeling in trouble. Dejin down low as well. Goes to Chrono Shift nice and early, and Trust dies. And they continue to harass from afar. There they go. As you say, Piglet gone. That's the big source of damage they were so desperate to rely on. He's down for a minute. Mammoth have utilized their poke. It's a little bit easier for them to navigate with. Dejin might just be the sole survivor. But it doesn't matter. I don't see a world in which he can 1v5. Mammoth have taken it to the late game. 42 minutes. We had to wait to truly break the deadlock. They were close. They were pushed. They nearly fell victim here to Gravitas. But ultimately, one final team fight will be that final nail in the coffin. And just like that, back-to-back victories in week 2 for Mammoth.
Yeah, look, it's 2 wins for Mammoth. They'll be stoked with the outcome from this week. They did everything possible to lose this game, Skimmy, but it just wasn't enough. They'll still be able to win this one in the end. And Gravitas just not enough gas in the tank. That last fight was so dicey. So dicey, but they get it done. It's a Corki diff. Changed my mind. It's just a Corki diff.
Yeah.
League of Legends is Corki diff. I'm so sick of that champion.
I suppose we saw really the difference of what used to be the whole case of, hey, it's Zoe, she one-shots me. It's like, well, that's Corki doing that, but more.
Yeah,
a whole
fine and all.
bunch more.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't feel fair to witness. Not fair to play against, I'm sure. And Piglet, as fed as he was, nearly this close to getting a pentakill, is, yeah, thrown one poke too far, Mac, and poked out of existence. Literally can't play the game.
Seemed to be the case, didn't it? That was a long one. I kept writing notes like, okay, so that was the tide turning fight. The game will end now, and then it didn't. And it's, oh, cool. Well, this team's got tempo, but the team that doesn't have tempo jumps in, wins the whole team fight, almost finishes the bloody game, but then respawns come through because they didn't have any pushed up minion waves, and then there was more time bought. Then Mammoth decide, you know what, we'll take Soul, and then instead of defending their base, we'll also take Baron. So they took a huge risk, but fortunately it was a good risk because that turned into waiting for Elder to come up and then winning that fight, which looked like they potentially shouldn't have won. Rafty even said it. Gravitas needed to hit that go button, but it seemed like there was just like separation in their decision making, and it was just a rough thing to watch at the end. This fight in particular, you guys pointed it out, Tron popped off. I thought he was mad jumping in, trying to go 1v3 up against Gravitas, but then he just got that Mega Gnar, smacked him up against the wall, and turned the fight from there. Tron, again, I feel like he's definitely in the conversation for the MVP. He's been doing so much over the last couple of days just to get these W's on the board for Mammoth.
He certainly has, and look, I mean, this is a game which I believe is actually now our longest game. This split actually eclipsed the Chiefs, so we're the ones that start off LCO. But yeah, this one went the distance. It had so many twists and turns, and in the end, I mean, superior team fighting. Yes, you could put it down to the Corki being an absolute menace. It was. But they certainly know how to team fight, and, you know, to be critical about split pushing and macro is one thing, but I love it. I love seeing the fact that they stick to what works for them, and it's entertaining. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, they've got the entertaining personalities like you can see there.
Agrees.
He knows what's up.
He does love a long, entertaining game. Look at that, 4 Hex-Tech Drakes, including the Souls. And Mammoth, that was very dangerous to be running anywhere near them. And it was only that 7k gold diff at the end. I guess, you know, in terms of the draft, we did get to see some things different finally coming in here on the LCO. Rakan, feel like we haven't seen a huge amount of him this split so far. Zoe as well, been there a few times. And then the Zillion as well, which managed to help out early on, I guess, in that bot lane.
Look
but
at this damage
Gravitas
were
were looking good. Yeah,
it
I
just
know.
looks like it's like a copy paste. Like you could actually go pound for pound through these champions. They're kind of similar. Like Gnar and Gragas displacement looking to be a big impact. You know, Zed and Viego both engaging. Zoe and Corki both hard poke. Like it just feels so similar across the board. But yeah, one champion just a little bit better.
And even just so many moments like Rusty's theory of, you know, inting mid turning into winning the 4v5 at Baron and that being the win condition, and then all of a sudden things happen. Mammoth come back into the game. that was messy. That game was an absolute mess, but it's gold. It's pure gold. It's pure entertainment. It's like when you back in the day, you know, when you'd go like to watch the gladiators like fight in the Coliseum.
Yeah,
like,
back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Like last year, I went down the pub, saw a couple of boys, you know, biffing it out. It was pretty much the same thing, right? Now, of course, that was pretty nuts. I was pretty happy with how that went. And I'm sure Mammoth are as well, because they will now have jumped up over a couple more teams on the leaderboard, but we'll catch up with that one. How good is that to think about, Mammoth getting up the leaderboard early? Kitty, come on in. Tell me what your thoughts are about that game. Did you enjoy it?
So, first thing here, Rusty, here's your L of the night.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I sent it the wrong way. He over here. You know, took the L. Anyways, so I've grabbed Voice for tonight's interview. Hello, Voice. Welcome back to the interview. That was the longest game so far. Congrats on the 2-0 week.
Thank you. I don't think it was really a 2-0 though. That game doesn't count as a win.
Hey man, that was a really close game, especially after the Jinx quadra kill. What was it like? Did the nerves set in for you?
I don't know. I guess I woke up badly today. That was the worst game of League of Legends I've ever played. Like, thank God my team carried me today, but from us, this was a terrible game. Like, if we didn't have Refury, we'd lost the whole thing. So, I think we definitely aren't happy about this game at all. I'm dying randomly perma. We just played this game so terribly. We don't think we really won, to be honest.
Well, it was a close game from both ends, but I was really curious, who was the shot caller in the later games? In the later game, yeah.
It's mainly just Rue and me. I think a lot of us are just communicating what we really want, but Rue's pretty much micromanaging everyone. He's just carrying the whole game, like, in and out of, like, the actual rift. I think we owe this week to him, 100%.
Definitely also tell him to grab a new webcam because we can't interview him. But I'm very curious, what were the comms like during that Elder Drake fight?
We were kind of just telling, like, we don't actually have to hit it because we have supers pushing into their base, and as long as we just chill, like, they can't really walk into us, right? Because I have Aphelios turrets down, and then we had just so much easy one-shot potential. They can't lock one down with Zillion. So we just kind of didn't have to do anything. And then a couple of them just inted, and we just one-shot them, and we won the game.
And something else I picked up on was the Moonstone Guardian Zillion build. Do you want to explain to me, for Rocco, what was that about?
I don't know. This guy's a freak. I'm telling you that much. He will build anything, and it apparently works. So who knows?
Well, it did end up working because you guys wrapped the week up with 2 victories. Well, thank you for the interview, Voice, and hope you have a good night's sleep.
Thank you.
This guy's a freak, man. I tell you, like, this man, he does whatever he wants and it works. And he's my lane mate, and it's great. Awesome. Great insight there. Thank you for that interview, Kitty. And it gave us some really good insight. So I need to say that everyone was even though Voice said they didn't really want that 2-0, it's a win. You want every win you can get on the leaderboard as early as you can, because getting those W's is harder as the split goes on when everyone starts to find their feet. You got to remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's important to recognize that a win is still a win this early, and for a team that is still learning, you won't feel good about it, and I like that mindset. You know when you perform that, but win's a win.
A win is a win. You win by an inch, you win by a mile. I think some great person has sent that before. Now, player of the game. I think there's no surprises. We were watching it in the replay package. Tron the Pom again coming in with some big setups in the team fight. Big tanky top laner, having a pretty good time today. I mentioned in the pre-game that I'd be looking at him to try to gap it, and maybe he didn't gap it so much, but when the game went further on, it looked like he had so much more participation than what was happening on the other side of the rift. So that is why he is definitely the player of the game. Skimmy, tell me, why are you not as good as him at Nah?
because I'm a Zillion Moonstone connoisseur. I'm an enjoyer of weird, wacky, freakish builds.
Oh, tell me why it's good then.
So what it is, I've actually got the inside scoop from our producer. They've actually said that, you know, forget about Skarner, forget about Shyvana, or, you know, Udyr and all the other champions that are potentially getting reworked. Actually, behind the scenes, Zillion's going to get reworked. He's actually going to get a shield. They're going to then bench Lulu and Janna. Zillion, a time bomb could be aggressive, but it could also give you a shield. This inside scoop. Quote me on that in 5 years' time when it happens.
So it's good in 5 years.
He's ahead of the meta, mate.
5 years ahead. Now, that's a good place to be. So clip it and ship it. That is pretty damn good. But of course, we do have a play of the day to talk about as well. Now, I don't think you guys have seen this one, so I'm going to be taking estimates, guesses. Give me some.
Tapoon, solo killing, Malphite. Just that.
Yeah?
Peace.
Peace. Okay. What about you,
Peace
Kitty?
had a lot of highlight reels, man.
That
It
last
has
play
to
with
be-
Appy, maybe?
Yeah, it has to be Peace with RP on the Akali. Something about that.
Okay.
I think it's that last play of the game, I reckon.
I'm with
Well,
Kitty.
you were all very much on the money, but unfortunately the money was bad money or like drug money or something. It
Monopoly
was
money.
wrong. It was, in fact, Praedyth with his quadra to end the game for PGG. The stolen Penta. Man was popping off today, having a great day on the Rift. Look at him, 11, 4, and 9, and that's before all this happens. Now, Kitty, tell me why this is so impressive and why Praedyth is so good.
Praedyth, MSI contender, basically Aphelios himself, you know, it's natural. Someone on Twitter, I believe it was Guncrab, was like, I'm feeling a Praedyth Penta today, and he only got it.
It was pretty close. Now, Rusty, I feel like, you know, if you put Aphelios up next to Praedyth, we're looking at like the same person, right?
Okay. I mean, listen, I think the hair coloring is a little bit different, given that one is literally colored like the moon.
What about, Mac? What about this? What
I'll
about
have to do jawline check.
we ask Winston, Pentanet Socials, and say if Pentanet make it to LAN, Praedyth has to cosplay as Aphelios?
Okay.
Maybe.
I need a side-by-side.
Maybe there's a bet. Maybe there's an incentive.
I'm sure that we could make that happen. I'm not too sure how keen Praedyth would be for that, but I'm sure he could be peer pressured in. Now, let's have a quick re-look at the standings after everything that's happened today, and Mammoth with the 2 Ws. I want to see where they are. Oh, tied third. Look at that. And still, Peace and the Chiefs undefeated at the top. So Order after the L today. Now they've got Pentanet and Mammoth all tied up with them. Tied 6th for Direwolves and Kanga on 1 to 3. And Gravitas still hunting for their first W, Rusty.
So, based off the standings, Mammoth have head-to-head against Pentanet.
Yep.
So Mammoth are third.
Yep. Pretty nuts. And that means
Like
that
outright.
they're in the playoffs right
Yeah.
now. Unfortunately
Fly
for
round.
them, they still have how many games are left? 17? Like 17 more games to play. So they're going to have to keep up this 50% win rate to even be in the conversation, I'd say. And look, that's a pretty good win rate considering that the opponents they've gone up against so far. Skimmy, tell
Yes.
me, what's the most interesting part of this leaderboard other than Mammoth?
Kanga, for me, they have to be the biggest surprise, quite honestly, coming into week number 2. They've kind of just been torn apart by 2 very strong teams.
Yeah.
And as a result, like statistically speaking, like Mammoth have actually pinched them in a few areas, which is not something that I think we were going to be saying coming into this one, given that a lot of these players are very, very strong. And so maybe you just put it down to a bad week in the office, really rough opponents, and it's really punished any weaknesses that they need to try and overcome. But certainly a long week for them to figure out what works and go in strong next week.
Well, that's it. Speaking of next week, let's have a quick old check on what Monday's matches are going to be. Gravitas and Kanga going mono and mono at 6 p.m, 7 p.m. You got Pentanet and Order. That is going to define who is in that third position. Chiefs and Peace, of course, at 8 p.m. as well. One of them, at the end of the day, is still going to be undefeated, and one of them will have a 1 into the L column at 9 p.m. at Direwolves and Mammoth. And Mammoth currently above them on the leaderboard. If they play like they did yesterday, they can find themselves for 3-2. But Direwolves, they haven't looked too shaky, so I feel like that's going to be a pretty good match, Rusty.
Yeah, I mean, the Game 4 definitely has potential to be a very good game of League of Legends. Depends on which iteration of both teams show up.
Exactly.
But 100% all eyes on game number 3, right? The two undefeated teams going head-to-head day 1 of week 3. I mean, if you miss that one, you may as well put your clown nose on.
What about you, Kitty? Anything different? Any differing opinions from what we've already said?
Well, in my opinion, maybe Mammoth is actually going to take a win from the Direwolves for the end of the game.
Okay, spicy. It definitely could happen because they are playing out of their minds, or they can play out of their minds. They can also do a little bit of trolling, so they say. But of course, speaking of trolling, I heard that we have some content coming from the fans, and I know you guys in Twitch chat love a little bit of trolling. Also, quick note as well, if you don't drop hashtag LCO on your tweets, on your memes, on your content on Twitter, then you're not going to be getting on the broadcast. So make sure you drop that hashtag LCO, or we're not going to put them on here. I'm going to be stubborn, huh? Yep, good. Anyway, so we got content. Let's have a look at what there is for us to have a quick gaze at. Another highlight coming through here. What have we got here, Skimmy?
Looks like we got a bit of a mechanics max here on the Ash. You'd have to imagine what's he going to be doing at level 3 here. He's got a flash, no heal, already burnt that one. Has the vision, which is nice. Out goes the sweeper. And here comes our sprinting in TF off screen. A cleanse happens. Maybe he's not really the star of the show. The main character is this Ash, which is kiting up an absolute storm. Early game clinic here. This is not how Ash is meant to be played, but I tell you what, it's a bit like Skyrim. It is just screaming Fusruda into action. Oh, here we go.
Ooh,
the frillial action. It's a triple. Is it a quaddy? There's the eagle eye, hook shot, Marvel movie. Bang. Gone.
I'm going to quickly let you guys talk while I count how many auto attacks Ash just got off for free. Yeah, Rusty, talk for me.
Yeah, easy. I mean, this is clearly some high mechanically gifted player, I would say, Mac. Putting on a bit of a clinic here with Ash. Lethal tempo, bit strong, isn't it, wouldn't you say? Quick question, what rank do you guys think this guy is? Because we didn't get a chance to do that today.
This is platinum.
Probably diamond, you know, 4 people rotated to a fight. It's pretty unheard of in Lolo.
Sorry, I'm still counting. We're up to like 27 auto attacks, 28, 20. It wasn't an auto attack.
That was a
then
very clean
I need to know.
About 29 auto attacks.
I
That
need
was
to know,
a lot.
did they win? Did they win? Because ADCs cry about having no agency, and I tell you what, if you're winning a fight like that at level 3 as Ash and you lose the game, you're probably not playing again.
Yeah, I can tell you, Skimmy, I won that game.
Oh, it's the big man himself!
Was it you?
That was me, yeah.
Ah, you
big
sneaky
Rusty.
bugger. I was going to compliment the beautiful spacing, like the whole damn fight as well. You know, the auto attack range. They were always on the rim. You were always just nicely positioned.
Hey, you said some bit clips, Mac. You said some bit of clip.
And I'm glad someone did. That's you. I'm glad at you, Rusty. Now, we do have another one to have a quick look at as well. So let's bring it up and see what it is from you guys at home. It's Hambo Vegas. And we did ask to send in some highlights, but he sent us in some IRL highlights. What do you do when the LCO is on? You cook a roast for the boys and enjoy some Cracker LOL content. And speaking of Cracker LOL content, Rusty, you are definitely providing the goods from the fans. But so is Hambo.
Mate, that's looking juicy.
Yeah. I reckon that was in a smoker. It's like, oh no, that's just, it looks like it's kind of fallen off, but it's roasted on the top. So, yeah, probably just a Barbie. Good old Barbie. Or, oh, it's in the oven. Sorry. I thought that was the top of a barbecue. What am I thinking?
You're hungry, Mac. It's time. It's time for some Menulog, isn't it?
I am salivating slightly looking at that. It looks pretty nice. So thank you, Hambo, for sending that in. And if you guys want to send in your content, make sure you hashtag LCO, or you're not going to get on the screens and us judging you, but only in like good ways and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Rusty, who's plat. Will we right with that rank?
Yeah, I'm currently platinum. We'll climb eventually. Well, hopefully that happens. One day you may dream of being as good as Kitty, who is up in Challenger. Now, that brings us to the end of week 2 here on the LCO. And look, I'm not going to waste anyone's time. We got some banger matches next Monday. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you're !mail so you don't miss out on anything. Hit that follow button and we'll see you next week with much more LCO action.
Here we go. Jumps in, locks them all in place. There's the Charmin is an instant double kill. for the AD carry here. There's
Winter.
two-man Cataclysm. Here's Winter on a deep flank, looking for the flash body slam. Surely there it is. Onto one key target. Knocks Frost into the waiting arms of Aphelios. There's the triple kill. That 4-5v5, perhaps going to get caught on the rotate as Kiyose jumps on in, but this is two-man knock-up. There's the Moonlight Vigil that instantly gets
my
triple
God.
quadra! That's the first quadra kill of this year! Where did that come from? Yeah, it seems to be working so far. Shot blast won't connect. Out comes the TP flank. Draco jumps in with a two-man Magnustorm onto the bot lane here. Off Kanga, and they lock them down with that unstoppable force again. Both the tank seconds. They got away with the storm just a fraction longer, but Baron is up and a soul point to take two. And the Chiefs say now time to go. They get one kill and Chungy's dead. The Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find its mark, but they have found a second. And Raze will hardly get a duck. But will be Kevin now to sneak his way in. They're going to clear out the trap. The final spot goes across. Down to 50. Is this dead? What happened to Corporal?
Oh, it's just going to be...
Here we go. Looking for it. Now, how many of these Barons will remain intact? In goes Zappy. Takes one, takes two. Gonna go golden bind time for the rest of the team to come across. Ace in the hole, there's two. Now, can we find a third? Yes, we can. Lisa looking for the fourth. On towards Fire Panther, who TP'd in, but might go crumbling down. Tron the Pom is out.
he just ate it.
Mammoth has to run. They have to run. This is not looking like a winning team fight right now, unless they can find something crazy. Piglet gets excited. They found one. Now he's going to run them all down. He's looking at a pentakill. That's a double. That's a